This is the story of Issei Sagawa, a soft-spoken, polite Japanese literature student who moved to Paris in search of culture, poetry, and academia. But behind his fragile appearance, there lived an obsession with flesh, beauty, and control. In the summer of 1981, that obsession crossed a line, and what happened in a quiet Paris apartment would shock the world. This is the case of the Japanese cannibal. Issei Sagawa was born in 1949 in Kobe, Japan. He was born prematurely, physically weak, sickly, underdeveloped. He grew up small and fragile. He often said he felt inferior to everyone around him. His family was wealthy and respected, his father a successful businessman, but emotionally distant. Sagawa learned how to observe people, not connect with them. He buried himself in books, language, literature, but deep inside, from childhood, something was distorted. He later claimed his first dark thought happened at age 6. He saw a classmate's leg and felt an uncontrollable desire not to touch it, but to bite it. As he got older, those urges didn't fade. They grew. He didn't want to harm people out of anger. He wanted to consume them, so that, in his words, their beauty becomes a part of me. He fantasized specifically about Western women. Tall, strong, pale-skinned, everything he believed he wasn't. In 1977, Sagawa arrived in Paris to pursue a PhD in literature at the Sorbonne. From the outside, he was just another quiet, intellectual foreign student. He spent his days reading, writing essays, and studying poetry. But in his mind, something else was happening. His obsession was intensifying. He began visiting sex workers, not for sex, but to study their bodies. He contemplated killing multiple women. He even brought one woman back to his apartment with the intent to shoot her. But he froze. He wasn't ready. But the desire didn't disappear. It just waited. At the Sorbonne, he met a Dutch student named Renee Hartvelt. She was kind, cultured, intelligent, everything he admired, and she treated him with respect. She helped him with coursework, discussed poetry, had dinner with him, never imagining who he really was. Sagawa became fixated on her. He didn't want to date her or seduce her. He wanted to consume her, literally, so that her strength would become his. He bought a rifle. He rehearsed scenarios, and one day, he decided the time had come. On June 11, 1981, Renee came to his apartment to record readings of poetry. She sat at a desk, opened a book, and began reading out loud. Sagawa quietly moved behind her, holding a rifle. He pulled the trigger, and in that moment, the fantasy became reality. Renee died instantly. What happened after was not quick. It was controlled, calculated, focused entirely on consumption and possession. Sagawa later described the event not with panic or fear, but like a long-awaited moment he had planned for his whole life. He believed he had finally taken beauty into himself. For the next 2 days, Sagawa remained in his apartment, alone with the body. Then he attempted to dispose of the remains. He placed the leftovers in 2 suitcases. He took a taxi to a nearby park, the Bois de Boulogne, intending to dump them into a lake. But the bags were too heavy, and people noticed blood leaking from them. Police were called. Officers opened the suitcases. It was over. Sagawa was arrested on the spot. When questioned, he didn't deny anything. He calmly admitted to everything. French authorities found him mentally unstable. He was declared legally insane and unfit for trial. And instead of prison, he was sent to a psychiatric institution. For 3 years, he remained in the hospital, undergoing evaluations. Then in 1984, France deported him back to Japan, expecting Japan to continue his treatment. But when Japanese doctors examined him, they concluded he was not insane. And because the case had legally been closed in France, Japan could not retry him. So in one of the most disturbing legal outcomes in modern crime history, Sagawa was released free. A man who had admitted to killing and consuming another human being simply walked out. Instead of hiding, he became famous. Talk shows invited him. Publishers offered him book deals. Documentary filmmakers interviewed him. In a twisted cultural moment, some people were actually curious. Media companies made money off his story. And Sagawa himself embraced the attention. He described details in public with no remorse. He said he wanted to be known. He said he didn't regret what he did, only that he was too small to do more. It was a moment where society had to face an uncomfortable truth. Fame can be given to monsters, if the world finds them interesting enough. By the 2000s, the world had lost interest. Sagawa became a fragile man again, this time truly disabled by age and health. He lived alone in Tokyo, dependent on his brother. He suffered multiple strokes. He spent his final years in poor health, unable to walk properly, partially paralyzed. The cameras disappeared, the fascination ended, and the man who had once been a media spectacle faded into obscurity. In November 2022, at age 73, Issei Sagawa died of pneumonia. There were no headlines, no major public reaction. Just a simple announcement. But his case remains one of the most disturbing examples not only of murder, but of what happened after. A killer who was released, a cannibal who became a celebrity, a story that forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. How did he walk free? Why did fame embrace him? And what does it say about us, the audience, that we watched? The world eventually moved on, but his name, even now, still sends a chill through anyone who hears it.